My name's Timothy Rice. I'm a battalion chief in the FDNY, and the title of my thesis is Conditioned to Grieve or Dead Inside, Line of Duty Deaths and Mental Resilience. How do the traditions of grief and mourning in the fire service affect mental resilience? I'll save you the suspense. Attending line of duty funerals do support mental resilience, but the why wasn't quite what I anticipated. As it turns out, line of duty funerals for the fire service are a variation on a theme and practice that is as old as civilization itself, namely the death ritual. There were three recurring themes found in the literature on death and death rituals from ancient civilization through modern times: culture, community, and social identity. Death rituals and funerary practices found in prehistory and early civilization were not just a practical treatment of the deceased to dispose of a body. Rather, the research revealed that the death rituals, burials, and funerary practices were a critical component to the establishment and sustainment of organized communities. These findings established as a basic human and communal need a framework and structure for treatment of the deceased. The ancient and communal response to death of a community member, although varied across cultures, was consistent in that it provided a forum for the community to recognize and acknowledge the individual's contributions and to bring death out in the open. The death ritual became a focusing event for the community and relieved the family or subunit from bearing the loss alone. As societies advanced and modernity took hold, civilized societies distanced themselves from this singular human certainty that is death. This proliferated for a few reasons. Modern medicine intervening and extending life expectancy has suspended death certainty. Furthermore, hospitals have replaced the home as the place where death occurs, thereby insulating individuals from experienced death firsthand and saving them from the embarrassment of the emotions that death evokes. Finally, decreasing participation in traditional religious beliefs further perpetuates an unfamiliarity with death that becomes problematic when a death occurs. Death-related occupations each have a regular, if not daily, relationship with death. Despite modern death anxiety, DR occupations as a matter of business see and accept a fair amount of death. This thesis examined and compared how these various DR leverage culture, community, and social identity in response to the death of a colleague. What the findings reveal is that culture, community, and social identity are complementary and best support mental resilience when leveraged collectively and consistently. Bearing this in mind, of the DR occupations, each has challenges to leveraging one or more of these support mechanisms, except for the fire service. For example, the professional DR occupations, such as medical professionals in the funeral industry, receive formal death training, but lack the culture and the social identity that transcends the workplace. The armed forces have a strong culture and social identity, but can't support regular participation in death rituals. Furthermore, the relatively short length of service for the majority means that support mechanisms from culture and social identity are transferred when service ends and fade over time. For first responders, they share a broad social identity, but when analyzed more closely, there are differences between EMS, law enforcement, and firefighters as well. The research found the nature of the work schedule, and the smaller team size found with EMS and law enforcement increases feelings of isolation and are barriers to mental resilience. The fire service is different. The nature of the work, the larger teams, and the longer shifts all facilitate a stronger, more familial bond. This familial bond facilitates collectively leveraging culture, community, and social identity more consistently when a line of duty death occurs. The communal response to a line of duty death demonstrates the positive attributes of death rituals that are found throughout history. These further support mental resilience. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you watching.